So what right before we jumped on here, we were talking about things being in your awareness and not really experiencing them unless you focus on that. And you gave this great example of walking up the hill with your knee, which is, kind of like this pinging pain for you right now. But when you're able to focus on other things, appreciation for the trees and the shadow and maybe the breeze or whatever, you said the pain was still there, but my focus wasn't on it. That's
Hmm.
that's fascinating, and I've
Yeah,
found the same experience.
yeah. I think it's fascinating that nothing changed about my knee, except that it was no longer part of my experience because my awareness was somewhere else. So, yeah,
Mm,
that seems pretty powerful when you want to turn that around and use it to your benefit. Um, so
mhm.
that what you do focus on becomes your awareness, and you choose something positive, something that serves you, and you focus on that, it becomes your experience.
Yeah. Oh man, my brain wanted to go in like three directions right here because I'm so fascinated by focus. And it's funny because going in three directions would be the antithesis of focus.
Yeah.
So I will take us in one direction. Um, so the hierarchy of which one is most interesting is a fun like little playground in my mind right now. But um yeah, how do you decide then what you want to focus on? Do you think it's something like, let me articulate the best version of my life possible, and then do I just make sure that my actions align with that? Or is there like a that's kind of like a macro scale, right? Like zoom out, look at all of it. Where are my habits and the details of my life directly contributing to the version that I desire? Where am I sort of knocking myself off the horse? So is it like this macro scale, or do you think that it's a little bit more minute and you zoom in and it's detail to detail? So it's like we think of this concept of presence. So it's simply being with something, how it is, exactly as it is. So let's say, like your example again with your knee, that sucks. Your knee is causing pain. So that experience, probably not something that's desirable in the grand scheme of your life. However, you were able to be with it and say, yeah, this pain is here. I recognize that. I'm not even trying to change it at this moment. And I wonder how I could appreciate these trees or this uphill climb in some other way. So to you, is it a macro thing, the way that you think about your life, or do you zoom in and you're on like a very micro scale and the little points of focus throughout your experience?
I think both.
Mm,
And when it comes to the knee thing, I think that pain is the messenger. It's my body telling me there's an issue and it needs dealing with, and it's there to prevent me from using my knee in a way that's going to further the damage. I'm actually not using my knee in a particular way. I'm not bending it and putting pressure on it in a particular way because it hurts. And that's probably beneficial in the long run. But so there's that. But also then I think to myself, okay, in my bigger picture, the life I want to live requires some physical strength and um, just the ability to take on, some physical chores. The walking is definitely a big deal to me. It's what I do. I do it for fun. I do it for function, everything. So in my bigger picture, I have working knees. So
yeah.
in my smaller picture, that dictates how I use it today, and it dictates the fact that I'll have it looked at, see what it needs to happen to make it right. So I think both. I think I like to look at the bigger picture of how I want things to be, and then reverse engineer it back down to the little steps that need to happen. So I start to see, okay, so what's going on in my life that is inconsistent with me having what I want in the long run. And so what are the things that I do day to day that are making those inconsistencies? And then what needs to change? Um,
That
yeah.
sounds like a horrifyingly honest conversation with yourself.
Whenever I used to like, I'd get this, like all of a sudden this awareness that I'm like all of a sudden in tune with myself. And I realize that I always, whatever, some attribute that I'm not really very proud of, like, or something that I have a habit of doing, not at all liking it. And when I become aware of it, my first thought is the boo-hoo, like, oh my God, I do this thing, I'm terrible, I'm blah, 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 like all this. And it takes a little wallowing in that first. But then I think, wait, that's the good news, because you can't change something that you're not aware of. And so being aware of it allows you to choose what you do want, and then decide if that behavior or that thing you just saw about yourself is something you want to continue, reinforce, whatever. It's the good news, the awareness, even the awareness that you've been on the wrong track. I mean, have you ever been driving? You've been lost for 20 minutes, but you didn't know it.
Oh my
The
God,
moment you
yes.
realize, oh my God, nothing looks familiar, where the heck am I? Because like, had you not had that awareness, you'd have keep going, And once you're aware that you're lost, you can begin to make your way back and figure out where you're going.
Yeah, that's refreshing. So being lost is not the problem. It's more about how fast can I become aware of what is going on in my life, in my landscape. I tend to believe that the internal is what becomes your external. Of course, there are circumstances that none of us can control. Absolutely. And if you bring worry and fear, you're going to get worry and fear. If you bring love and light, you're going to get love and light. So it's an energetic match in your experience, plus some factors that are uncontrollable. And even if it's a worst case scenario, you might as well bring love and light, because if that's what you're going to get, then I just turned a really shit situation into the best possible outcome.
Yeah.
Right. So it's like, this was another, it brings me to another of my avenues that I was one of the three in the beginning. There's a concept in coaching and in business, and it goes something like act as if. Right. So, I'm not yet there. I'm lost, if to use your words. Let's say I keep reacting. Somebody is, bringing an issue to my attention, and rather than hear them out or listen, and I just kind of like try to bite their head off because I'm reactive for whatever reason. There could be a million. And the concept act as if goes like this. What if I acted as if I were already the better version of myself? So there's nothing to change and nothing has gone wrong. I just get to act as if I'm already the patient listener, so that when someone comes and brings, this or that, and normally, or yesterday, I would have been like, God, I don't like that. And here's my reaction.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
But now I get to step into that 2.0 better version of me, just because I acted as if it was who I was all along. And maybe it was.
And maybe it was. Maybe you are all things. And the one that is present is the one that is just likes
Yeah.
the one that's seen. It reminds me of, now this is like on the actual just physical level. Like there's these breathing techniques that we learned that put your body in a relaxation state. When you got your brain is sending out the signals to go into fight or flight because you are anxious, you are worried or scared. So your brain sends out all the stop digestion, put blood flow in the extremities so you can run, increase your heart rate. So, and all the things that accommodate fear. And so then there's a way of breathing that that calms your body down because your brain is in this fight or flight mode,
Yeah.
and then you start breathing in a calm way. And what they said was, your brain will be like, wait a minute, I thought I was scared, I thought we were in trouble, I thought there was danger, and yet I'm breathing like a calm person.
Hmm.
I'm breathing like a calm person. Okay, maybe I'm calm. Maybe okay, I'll start sending out the calm signals. So when you just act,
Yeah.
in a way that is calm, then your brain's like, oh, okay, I guess we're calm now. I guess everything's okay. And it changes.
Totally. That's the body brain connection.
Yeah.
100%. And a lot of people miss this. You get into self-help and coaching and personal development, and it's all about like managing your mind. Well, that can be hard sometimes because I've lived in this landscape for way too long and I've repeated this same thought for way too long. And what we forget is, like you're articulating perfectly, you can lead your mind with your body. You can tell
Mhm.
your mind this signal of ease and peace and safety just by breathing differently.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you feel that physiological like decompression, like, okay, whoa, something just shifted. I really do feel safer.
Yeah.
Then you get to the part where it's manage your mind or whatever you're here to do, but using your body as leverage.
Yeah. And like you said,
Brilliant.
if so, if you've got all this going on, rather than like work out all the details, I mean, you can get in and process your old long lost feelings and whatever. And I'm not saying you don't, because I do that and that's important, but you
Mhm.
can also act as if you are the solution, the resolution. You can act as if you are the one who's already got it all figured out. Act as if you do. Act in the way that you want to be. And this is how we form habits. So when you start acting like the person who has the success that you are wanting, you already have it. You already are the person who has found peace. You already are the person who has a successful business. You already are the person who is doing the things you want to do, and you're just acting like it. Your brain's going to be like, whoa, I'm getting these signals that says I am this. So the brain is going to start lining up, forming experiences, and your awareness of experiences that line up with the version of
Mhm.
you that you're acting like.
Yeah. Fake it till you make it.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah. And it's almost just a numbers game, because it takes like 6 weeks to form a new habit. So if you can just, for the majority of the time, behave in the ways that support the thing you want, and you can
Mm.
do this over time, your brain will start to fall in line with, and you will
Mhm.
become that thing.
Yeah. Well, and to your previous point, you don't even need to act as if. You don't even need to get that far if you can't. You just need to notice when you're not doing the thing and
Yeah.
calling awareness to it. So, like waking up at 6 a.m. is my goal, and I keep waking up at 6:14. What the hell is that? How come I can't make my goal by 14 minutes, right? Well, rather than getting on my own case and being like, you suck and you're just lazy, obviously, then just saying, oh, look at that. Notice I got the hour. It's six something. It's not 6:00, but that's something. And you know what? I'm going to get 6:00 tomorrow, right? Rather than dog on myself. And the 14 minutes don't matter. I just notice the difference. I just say, yeah, that's 14 minutes later than I anticipated. Tomorrow's going to
Yeah.
be totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's like our point of power, right? In the noticing.
Yeah. And one other thing I've noticed, here's something,
Mm,
this is a big one, that when stuff happens in your world, and especially stuff not to your liking, now there's the, oh my gosh, this is really affecting me, and you go to your closest people and you share this. That's fine. Like, we need support, we share these things, we lighten the load, and
mhm,
that's fine. um the more you continue to share those things, it is crazy how they start happening for you over and over again. These things you don't like, you don't want, you don't want. And so the more they happen, the more you're out in your world going, why is this happening to me? And you're like, oh my gosh. And when people ask you, how are you doing? What's going on for you? Well, this freaking thing keeps happening to me, like it's perpetuating. So like I've been very, very careful about, yes, I lean on my friends for support and I share the things that weigh on me. And then there are times when I refuse to share that because that's only going to put my attention on it and
Yeah.
perpetuate it, because where my attention goes is going to create more of it. And it does, and sometimes to the point where I'm like, I cannot believe that this is becoming something that's consuming my world. And why? And it's possibly just because I have chosen to give it presence and attention
Hmm.
more and more and more. So the less and less and less I do, the funny thing is, oh my God, it goes away. And then they stop happening.
Right. Yeah. And I might take that less and less and less I do and turn it into, expand it into, what if I did the opposite?
Yeah.
So like if I, in my previous example, someone was frustrating me and, I had a short fuse or whatever. So then in that instance, and truly in that instance, like walk away from the person if you have to, graciously, but go do something light and no brainer and fun and easy and zero resistance,
Yeah.
because that is the opposite energy that I was just bringing.
Yeah.
So it's counterintuitive. It's like we want to like figure it out or crack the code and like, like
Analyze.
analyze, yeah, and like talk someone's ear off until like they understand how everything was their fault. And it's like, but what are you going to do about it? How are you going to become a better version of you through this experience? And I think it's in shifting that energy. So
Yeah.
go do something fun, go do something crazy random that you're going to be like, I cannot believe I just went outside and I climbed a tree because like I'm really into that. And then when I was up there, I saw that my neighbor is building this crazy thing in their backyard. And, I think I'm going to say and invite myself over. And now I made a new friend with my
Yeah.
neighbor because I decided to climb a tree and they're building a weird thing.
Hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, first of all, you stop doing the thing that
Yeah.
perpetuates negativity. So
Hmm.
that's just refraining from. But even then, and that is good in itself. And
Hmm.
then, but beyond that, you shift into doing something that you do want to do, or bringing some focus that you do want. And it is true. I can think of so many times where the thing that's happening is, not wanted, not wanted at all. When my car broke down at the end of the road here, I was sitting in there just, having all those kind of car breakdown thoughts, but instead I made up a song and I recorded
Oh,
my song, and it was really funny and I was laughing and giggling. And just then somebody drove by and I needed help. I just needed somebody to take this big box up the hill for me. Turns out it was the only neighbor I've never met before. So in fetching my box, I went up to his place and holy cow, he's the neatest person. And he's got a winery and a brewery and an
wow.
indoor all year round greenhouse. He's got a wood shop and a metal
Wow.
shop. He's got a jacuzzi and an outdoor patio and fun pad. I mean, it's just what a neat person. And I was like, okay,
Yeah.
so I would never have met this person.
Hmm.
Maybe not, but either way, what got me to meet this person was I
Yeah.
broke down at the end of the road. But instead of getting down, and when he went by, I wasn't like this. I was like, la la la, recording a song because it's funny, you know?
That's hilarious. Yeah.
Yeah.
Turning lemons into lemonade comes
Yes.
to mind. Yeah, so then you might take it so far as to thank your broken down car.
Hmm.
That's like next level enlightenment. I know most people
Oh
are not
yeah.
there, but
One of the very best things that ever happened to me in my whole life came from breaking down, and not just breaking down, but in a way and in a place, which was the last place I wanted to be. I was pretty sore about it.
I need this what happened? I have to know.
Oh, I blew an engine
Another car
constantly was going.
story.
So, but I blew an engine, but because I was trying to leave like where I grew up, my hometown, I was trying hard to get out of there. Getting out of there kind of meant everything to me. I don't know why, but either way, breaking down there was just rubbing in my face all the naysayers that's like, you're never going to make it. This is crazy. And what are you doing? And I was like, I'm going to make it. Watch me. And then I broke down. So, so I kind of had a little bit of a pride bruise going on, but
Mhm.
it actually put me right then and there where I needed to be when my grandma she was sick, but she was in a way that she just needed help. She wasn't so sick. She wasn't enjoying life, but she needed help. So it became my job. It's all I did for the next 6 months was hang out and take care of grandma.
Oh,
We had so much fun. My grandma was amazing. And I couldn't have had those 6 months if I'd have had it
mhm.
my way. And I thank goodness that the very last thing I wanted for myself was the thing I got, which gave me that time with her.
Yeah. Your intuitive broken down car.
Yeah, in fact, I when it broke down and while I was waiting for the tow
Damn.
truck, I grabbed my angel cards, deck of angel cards, and I drew out like abundance. And it said something like, brace yourself, great things and abundance are headed your way. All kinds of goodness. You're in for it. It's going to be great. And I even looked over my shoulder and I said to like the angel that's up over there, I was like, are you making a joke? This is not a joke. This is not funny. I was like, this is not funny. And you're laughing at me. I'm like, and I really kind of took it that way. And
Mhm.
and little did I know the angels were right on. They were like, no, brace yourself. The best thing that might be one of the best things that ever happens in your whole life is about to happen to you.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dang it. Um, this afternoon I was listening to a physics podcast. It was very dense, and I'll just keep my
Wow.
reference to it brief. Um, but to your point that the very best thing might be about to happen to you through the avenue of the thing that you don't want. And they're talking about how just possibilities and what physics can find from possibilities is that, simply they're truly infinite. You can't chart it, you can't predict it, and you can't wrap your mind around it because it's infinity itself. And so
Yeah.
for us in our finite minds to decide something and then set it in stone, as if it was the forced way, the only way,
Hmm.
it's insanity.
Yeah.
Juxtapose right next to the realm of all possibilities, what
Hmm.
could happen in your life to say, but I need this to happen, and it has to happen this way, and it has to be this career title. I need to be making this much money by this age, and I need to graduate from there. And if I don't have all of that, I ain't happy. You're
Yeah.
outsourcing your happiness. And it's like what the physics is telling you is that like it would be so unwise to do that
Yeah.
because there are
Yeah.
so many points of happiness that exist that are outside of your awareness. And so just I love your car breakdown story because
Yeah.
it's
I got
like
a few.
it's the least yeah, the least expected, least desirable. And I just love that.
you
It's
know,
kind of like an
it
underdog
got to be
story.
it got to be when I was traveling for years and years, how I mean, I didn't welcome the breakdown, but
Mm,
I began to know that when my car broke down, I was going to have the logistical issues like, oops, dang, what am I going to do? But I also knew that it was going to bring people into my world that I wouldn't have met otherwise, people who were just going to come out of nowhere and go, I see you're in a jam. Can I
mm.
help you? And that always happened. And so I would be like, okay, cool. Because like, I wonder what's going to happen this time while I'm broken down on the side of the road and who am I going to meet and all that stuff.
Have you
But
secretly been running an experiment like
no, but
via car breakdowns?
I started a journal years and years ago that I just dropped off with and I didn't keep. I should have though,
Mm.
but called Angels Along the Way because I
Oh,
was documenting some of the, I mean, I had a guy,
That's so cool.
when our alternator stopped working, he's like, okay, so I have this little portable generator. You can mount it on your hood. You can hook it up under the bear and run your battery, and this will get you a few hundred miles down the road. I live in Reno. He's like, and we're in wherever. He's like,
Oh
I live
my
in Reno. So
gosh.
here's my generator. I'm going to mount it on your car. And when you get as far as Reno, just bring it over to my house. And when we did, I mean, he just gives us a generator. So we show up at this guy's house we've never met before, treats us like royalty. He's like, okay, so like, here's my specialty. I'm like king of chicken fried steak, and I'm
Oof.
making you this breakfast. Like, he made these meals, and he was like, you guys are really tired. Everybody's going to get showers and beds. And I mean, like,
Oh,
wow. How
that's
cool. Okay, I
amazing.
got so many. And I'm getting off track because I wanted to revert to what you just said about
Yeah.
when you know the very finite little thing that it has
Mhm.
to be this way. Because I
Yeah.
remember learning that when you know something and you
Mm.
really know it, that's almost sad news.
Mm.
Because the more you know something, the more that's the only way it can be. When you don't know, you are open to infinite possibility. And so even when you do know something, leave a
Yeah.
slice of you that doesn't know to hold those possibilities.
Hmm. Yeah. That's like allowing for those who are spiritual, like allowing the divine in.
Hmm.
We don't control all the variables in life. So allowing whatever that power is to just,
Yeah,
sprinkle a little of this, little of that, some miracles, some wonder, some incredible stuff, and then,
yeah.
what could your life become? An
And
incredible
sometimes,
breakdown story with a generator that you don't own involved.
yeah, sometimes I don't even know. Like, I try and get after the essence of what I want more than like, I want a red,
There you
shiny,
go.
4-door, hatchback. I
Yeah.
want to, and I want it parked in the driveway of a house that looks like this, whatever. I don't want any of those things. Oh God, I'd never drive a shiny red car. By the way, never, would never do it. I don't even care if you give me one. I won't take it.
Oh, that's
Nope.
interesting.
Um, yeah, I won't drive anything shiny. Okay, but
So it's not
what,
about the red, it's about the shiny. Okay.
oh yeah,
Question for
no.
later. All
Yeah,
right.
what was I gonna say though? Oh, I try and get after the essence instead. Like, what will that shiny red car get you? What is the thing? What is the emotional need that you're trying to
Hmm.
fill? Because you put your sights on some physical thing, you'll get that thing and you won't find what you were looking for.
Mm.
And so I used to like say my prayers in a way that's like, I'm looking for, this emotion or whatever. And then often I don't even know what that is. And so I say to the universe, the source, my angels, whatever, call them what you will. I say, I don't even know what it is, what this hole is that I'm feeling, that I'm needing to fill. I don't know what it is, but you do. So
Mm.
rather than ask for this thing that sounds good, just like help me find what I need.
Wow.
And if that's the best I can do, that's good enough.
I might label that faith,
Yeah.
knowing that whatever that power is going to fully understand and fill that space with
Yeah.
whatever must be there.
Yeah.
And
Because
I
I've
have
been
to,
known to screw things up.
yeah, but I also have to honor you just in the willingness to say, I don't know. First of all, that's the first incredible piece. But then the second part is the willingness to receive whatever is placed in that space.
Yeah, and know that that is the best thing for you.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Holy shit, Diana, you are an over deliverer. This conversation
Yeah,
is
this is
insane.
I see this as a circle. If it were
Okay.
just me, it would end right there. This
Okay.
is totally
Good.
circular.
Let me be the continuation of you in this conversation and
Yeah.
friendship and
Yeah. And
wow.
as people, I think we are that way. I
Mhm.
mean, we are what are we as a lone individual? It's like we feed on each other, we support each other, we
Right.
yeah, we give, we get, we receive, we all that.
Right. Damn. Well,
Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah, that was fun. Thank you. Oh,
Yeah,
so
that was fun.
good. It's
You
so
know,
good.
I told you before we started, I just had woke up from a nap. That was a 3-hour nap.
Oh,
And
amazing.
we can maybe talk about this another time, because you and I have gone off on these tangents before of
Yeah.
the where were you just before you were born, like,
Yeah.
or just before you became human, and then where are you as soon as you go. Okay, so
Mhm.
there's that, and that's big. That's a lot to talk about. But then I think that in our daily lives, the closest we can get to that, and we can get close to that space that's close to divinity
Mhm.
before just before we fall asleep and just as we're waking up. And a
Yeah.
3-hour nap is one heck of a great way to do it. I yeah, we'll talk about that again sometime.
Yeah.
But that space when you're falling asleep and when you're waking up, try not to do
Mhm.
it too quickly. And
Oh,
and
yeah.
let yourself linger in that like foggy land of dreaminess and sleepiness and
Mhm.
just see what comes. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I love it. That's amazing advice. If you could like extend that period of time to your whole day, because what happens is you're very illogical. At least I am. Like the ideas I
Yeah.
have, I've just had them in my dream, and they're so like fantastical that like by, waking logic, they make absolutely no sense. But it feels like they make sense in this window of time that you're talking about. It's
Yeah.
just really fun to play with and be like, oh my gosh, but what if air was goo instead and we all
Yeah.
were swimming in this clear goo? I don't know.
Yeah.
But it
And I
feels like that's reality.
I wondered if we if during our waking hours when we're trying to we need to focus, but we're focused and we're on task and we've got things, and it's
Mhm.
the daily stuff, we're doing it, we got our brain so engaged. But when it's not, I wonder if that's a more of an opening for the divine to speak to us, more of a time that's open for that real connection that we have it all day, but that connection that we have with the divine that
Yeah.
is not so interrupted or squashed by our
Yeah.
logical.
I like that a lot. It feels very true for me in my experience. And I'd be interested to hear from, other people what their
Yeah.
experience feels like. But, again, just I would label that faith because it's the willingness to allow something through that you don't control. And it requires openness, which might be a synonym for faith. I don't know. The
Yeah.
willingness to receive what's coming through.
Well, I'll tell you, of the things that have been in my control, not sure I've done such a smash up job. So,
Oh
so
my
it's like,
gosh.
so I look at it like, letting the divine into my driver's seat,
Yeah.
please, like,
There's some Jesus take the wheel, but if you don't believe in Jesus, not him, but
no, just allowing more of that into my decision making and into the way I live my life, because left to my own, oh my gosh, I don't want
Mm,
100% control. Oh Lord, I do want for that. So boy,
yeah.
we I feel like we could just about turn and do another whole
Yep.
session, but perhaps next week.
100%. Okay, absolutely. Next week.
Yeah.
And we will, because next week we're doing our first group
Oh yes.
coaching, which people can sign up for. It's not too late, but we're gonna meet once a month. There's a workbook and we'll be chatting different topics from our Empowered Life challenge. So I'm excited for that. This is gonna be a
Yes.
big kickoff. And I thank you,
Thank
Diana.
you. Yes. Thank you always.
Mhm. Short and sweet, but dang it,
That was good.
heavy, packed,
Yeah.
dense.